Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We got another show coming up this coming weekend. Halloween Havoc is Saturday, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
22nd.
22nd.
So it's the final event for this month's predictions, and it's a tight race between me and the Enforcer. Yes, Larson.
Since I'm out of it, I'm just going to blow off the stream. Cool?
You're not really out of it.
I am completely and totally. I'm down 8 points.
You're down 8 from the lead. You're down 7 to me.
Yeah, I'm out of it. 8 points on a 6-match card? Done.
Yeah, there are 3 matches. Well, plus you got Money in the Bank still. You know, that's one thing that I was kind of surprised why you went with with Phoenix, because you only would have been down, 3 at this point, which is after Halloween Havoc. There are 3 matches of Halloween Havoc. The ladder match, and 2 others that I'm like, man, I don't know about these matches. I don't know. Last year at Halloween Havoc, all the titles changed except for the top title.
Let me tell you something. I said this on our Triplemania stream. I knew I was done after I should have stuck with Jordan Grace beating Masha. I was the one that put that out there. That was going to happen. I didn't stick to my guns, and I lost. And since then, that ruined my whole month.
You need to have more confidence in you. No, I still think you're still a threat. In my eyes, you're still a threat.
Well, I'm happy you think that, because in my mind.
I mean, if you just want to submit your picks early and take the weekend off, have at it.
Possibility. I'll let you know.
Feel free. That's fine. I don't think you're gonna do it. I think you like hanging out with us too much. But no, you know what? It was actually kind of nice last month when I lost and you weren't there. When you won and I didn't have to deal with you winning in front of my face in live in real time.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. If
I would like that luxury as well, please. And
I don't know. So if that's an option, man, I might partake in that next time around if I'm down big. I'll just here's my picks. Have at it.
Bow out.
Yeah. You never know. I don't know, man. You know, me and Enforcer are a couple clowns, Larson. We're a couple. There's a reason Triple H gives Enforcer so much shit, because we're a couple clowns. I think that you still have a chance.
I got no chance, man. Down 8, no chance.
Yeah. So anyways, that's coming up Saturday. Larson is still going to be a good time. And yeah, so that's happening. Of course, thanks to everybody for joining us, those that did, for our Triplemania stream this past weekend. Granted, I know predictions wise, it wasn't a great day for you, but regardless, that show was a ton of fun.
It was a really fun show. We'll talk about that more later. Yes.
We are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a pretty eventful Smackdown and give you our thoughts on what this Bray Wyatt thing is, because I think it's pretty fascinating. We've also got a Rampage to talk about. We are, once again, this is we got Triple H zooming in for our Raw preview again. He is, according to Dave Meltzer, I don't know if this has been confirmed anywhere else, but
I think PW Insider said something about it. Let me double check on that.
Has WWE said anything about it? I feel like they okay. Well, according to Dave Meltzer and according to Larson's PW Insider.
Yeah, it is PW Insider, yeah.
Said that Paul Levesque, Triple H, the King of King, Game of Games, he's got the COVID. And so much like me at Action Coast Wrestling last time, 2 months ago, he won't be there at Raw or NXT this week. Our best goes out to the game.
Yes.
COVID ain't nothing to mess with, but he's got a Raw to preview here on the show. He's already booked, and we're not letting him off the hook. So he's zooming in.
Why can't we just let Triple H rest, man? He's dealing with COVID. He might be under the weather.
It's a preview. It's a people. They're tuning in for this. Numbers are up because Triple H is zooming into this show.
I don't know, man. I feel like we need to let him rest, man.
Well, I'll text him. And then see, well, hold on a second. He's watching right now. He says, there's a text from Paul. No, he's in. He says, I wouldn't miss this for the world. His words. Oh, wait, there's another one. Enforcer is trash. I don't know why. He just texts that's right. Anyways. Right now available at Friendo Club TV, the YouTube channel, Friendo Club Wrestling. We've got Friendo Road, episode 4, I think.
Yeah, 4.
It's where we buy a wrestling promotion. It's the road.
Stuff.
It's the road to wrestling promotion. It's done. We're there. Welcome to the wrestling business, pal.
Yep.
Is us now. It's a pretty decent little short of how that all went down. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So check that out. Friendo Club Wrestling right now. And then, let's get into it, man. We got a couple news items to get into before we talk about all the results from the weekend. First up, some more about Kenny Omega and what his plans for Triplemania were during the latest episode of Keeping It 100. That's Conan's podcast, along with, I think, Disco Inferno and some others. Conan mentioned that he tried to get Kenny Omega to send in a video to hype up a future match between the Cleaner and the winner of the mega title bout between Rey Fenix and El Hijo del Vikingo. However, Kenny Omega told Conan he couldn't due to legal issues. These transcripts come to you via Wrestling Observer. Conan said this: I know there are some legal issues because I actually asked Kenny Omega if he could send me a video for Triplemania, whoever wins between Vikingo and Phoenix, because, he's the number one contender. He says, and then Kenny said, I still can't because of legal issues. So there's something legal going on, end quote. Conan, the captain of obvious there.
Yeah.
So there's something legal going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if Dave Meltzer be believed, everyone still suspended for Brawl Out is completely in the dark about their status with AEW. Dave said on a recent Wrestling Observer Radio. These transcripts come to you from Wrestle Talk. Quote, people are sitting here every week. You got people who think it's a work, but they're not told anything different because the company hasn't said anything. Nobody knows when they're coming back, including the people who are on suspension. Nobody knows anything of what's going on. So seemingly everybody is suspended indefinitely, but probably they're being kept in the dark because there's potentially legal issues. Which might preclude Tony Khan and AEW from communicating anything to anybody.
So I'm gonna suggest something here. I believe Dave Meltzer contacts them because they have a move named after him. I think that's true. They have to know something. They have their own lawyers who are probably telling them, X, Y, and Z is happening right now, and everything's in limbo until this gets resolved. It's just nobody knows when this is going to get resolved or how it's going to get resolved. I don't think they literally are sitting in the dark like, we don't know what's going on. We have no idea. I think they know what's going on. I think, of course, they know what's going on. It's just nobody outside of that very tight circle knows exactly what's going on. And
I guess the potential exists, too, for those who may know what's going on. They're not at liberty to discuss what's going on.
Well, that's the big thing. They can't say anything. Because of these legal issues. There's something legal going on. No, it was cool to see Rey Mysterio was allowed to send in a video. Does that mean he's going to be the number one contender now? How cool would that be?
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Hey, Ray versus Vikingo.
Ray,
wow.
I know you got problems with Dom, but how about this? You're on Smackdown, and then I'll throw a cherry on top so you don't leave the company, so you don't quit. You don't retire this way, Dom.
You head over to Triplemania, take on Vikingo. Holy shit.
That'd be amazing.
After what we saw this week on SmackDown with Rey Mysterio, that dude is moving like he's 25 years old.
Man, that move he did, granted, I didn't see him when he did it in Lucha Underground, so it was brand new to me.
Yeah, right.
That, reverse destroyer type thing. Oh, wow.
Man.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good
crazy.
point. Bill Villain here in chat says they're probably mediating between 4 different lawyers, at least. At least Tony.
Five,
AEW probably has
6.
an entire team.
Yeah, minimum 6, I would think.
Yeah.
I would think, each individual would probably have their own legal representation of those still suspended. And then AEW.
Well, you know how Punk does it. Punk
party.
could be like, here, have my lawyer, Ace Steel. until that goes down. Until that goes south.
We're all learning here, Tony. I'm not.
I'm not. Let's talk about this. So last year there was a debut of a new WWE. It's still weird saying premium live event.
I hate saying that, man. I'm too old to change, man.
Yeah, pay-per-view. Day one.
Darn it.
Day one.
Is it actually available anywhere on pay-per-view? It's not, right? Internationally, is it available on pay-per-view?
I don't know anything on pay-per-view in forever. I don't look at pay-per-view anymore.
Well, I don't know. I'm just maybe
I don't know. I'm honestly answering your question. I don't know.
You don't know, or you do know.
I don't know.
You're not at liberty to say.
I'm not at liberty to say. So, of course, day one this year took place New Year's Day in Atlanta. So WWE had announced another edition of the show for 2023, but WrestleNomics reported Sunday that the show had been canceled It won't be, quote, rebranded or rescheduled. So Dave Meltzer's of the Wrestling Observer addressed this report saying, quote, Brandon Thurston reported day one has been canceled. There were conflicts with major football games in Atlanta on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We've been told a few weeks ago it could be moved, but Thurston reported no pay-per-views between Survivor Series and Rumble. WWE hasn't confirmed, and then Brian Alvarez noted that there were big changes.
Yeah.
WWE's, did you just do your Alvarez there?
It was like an Alvarez / LA Knight. Big changes. There's big changes happening to the pay-per-view schedule.
In 2023, with less emphasis on, quote, gimmick shows and apparently more international events.
Oh, I wonder where they're going to now, or just more Saudi Arabia shows.
I wonder if the Clash the Castle will be an annual deal.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be
based
great.
on how well it went this year. What's really interesting is the idea of no pay-per-views between Survivor Series, which is end of November, till the Rumble, which is end of January. I always kind of felt like there was too many pay-per-views as is. Somewhere between, for WWE schedule, 6 to 8.
Yeah,
I think would be ideal. That way you can make the individual episodes of Raw and SmackDown more meaty, more substantial, more consequential. And then you don't have these pay-per-views that feel like, like Raw and SmackDown super shows.
I think 9 is a great number. 9's a perfect number, man. You get some time off, make people miss it, then you give them a lot of good action, then you take another month off. So I'm just happy I don't have to work on New Year's Day. That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like. What do you think about this? The less emphasis on gimmick shows. So
that's
maybe
a good idea.
You think they're going to maybe they'll get rid of Hell in a Cell. That's the one that really stands out as like, why does this exist?
Well, I think that and like Elimination Chamber. Like, I think the Elimination Chamber, if you got a story, I mean, I don't know how often you have a story that involves 6 people feuding, 6 individuals feuding,
Yeah.
Or if you have a situation where your main event, like on Raw, like right now, where the main event scene is pretty loaded, makes sense to do it.
Yeah.
If you build to it. But just to have it as your February show, meh.
Chamber, me personally, I'm cool with it because you either get like a new number 1 contender when they had the title split, like one dude wins the Rumble, somebody else wins the Elimination Chamber.
In that situation, it makes sense. Yeah, I don't
think it's
mind
pretty
that.
Cool. And the matches, generally speaking, for the past couple of years, Elimination Chamber has been pretty cool. But Hell in a Cell can go. Like that can go. I'm glad they did. Cody versus Seth was a great Hell in a Cell match. But that should have been there because it warranted it. The storyline warranted it. Yeah. But otherwise, you don't need Hell in a Cell to be a thing. Just give it a cool name like Armageddon. Guilty as
in your
charged.
House, GX.
That's a very specific pay-per-view name. In Your House, Rock Bottom.
There we go.
Yeah.
What was the other one? In Your House, Rise of the Dead Man, or something like that?
Well, now they could do Judgment Day as a pay-per-view if you want to name it after a faction, and
they could.
They could. In Your House, Judgment Day. There you go.
They can bring back Stomping Grounds. Remember that one?
I did. Well, Great Balls of Fire really is what they're missing out on.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the one they're missing out on. And Triple H, he likes genitalia humor.
That's true.
Hey, Great Balls, get it? It's a double beating.
Oh man, hurts my throat to do this.
I know me. We're both kind of infirmed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up really, really congested.
Oh noes. It took me forever to get to bed last night. Like I've had a scratchy throat and I've just had a cold in general. I tested a couple times. I'm not with Levesque on that one. I'm clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had my bout 2 months ago.
Yeah. Well, the whole family here is got the same. I assume the same thing.
I think a lot of people. It's changing weather, allergies. They'll kick up, and that inflames a bunch of shit, and you're whatever. Let's talk about Triplemania.
Let's talk about Triplemania. Yeah,
you got a fever. The only cure is Triplemania.
So one of the hallmarks of Triplemania's past that we've enjoyed is the unpredictability of it.
Mm-hmm.
We literally do. And granted, we don't really follow AAA except for Triplemanias and maybe when they do Rey de Reyes.
Yeah, right.
Because that's usually a fun show because whoever wins that match gets a giant sword.
Yeah.
But and maybe it's because I think we all did just a modicum of research in advance of this for predictions.
Yeah, right.
I felt like there was a lot less unpredictability with the card. But but that didn't necessarily lessen the overall enjoyment of the card.
Yeah, no. In fact, it made it better. I'll be honest. So just think about this. Like we had that the number one contender tag match. What is it? 3 teams here, 4 teams.
Yeah.
And after, I'm pretty sure this happened after the bell rung. We found out via commentary.
No, it was the trios. It was the trios.
The trios. That was the trios one?
Yeah, the trios.
You're right. You're right. Because the titles were on the line. You're right.
Yeah.
So NGD are the current trios champions. Well, we find out via commentary after the bell rang that in order to win the titles, the champions have to be pinned. Which seemingly was done just to protect NGD because we all had them winning because, like you said, the research that we did. But then it came down, like, just for our own personal, the confidence points thing. Enforcer just put a stack of confidence points on that.
Yeah.
And then he found out, oh, crap, they're going to protect them and somebody else is going to win this match. And so it made it more fun knowing, kind of what we felt was going to go on, because even if you sort of know what's going to happen, the show is still wildly fun and they do what they can to throw a bunch of wrenches in your expectations.
Yeah.
And so it was still a wildly fun affair. I mean, you get Phoenix and Hijo del Vikingo on there. And dude, you're looking at a potential match of the year candidate. Now, in my opinion, this one didn't quite measure up to that lofty status, maybe because my expectations were so high. I feel like that match was kind of just amazing spot after amazing spot, as opposed to like a decent storytelling match.
Well, it seemed like the story was essentially like Ray Phoenix starts off, hitting. Vikingo starts off hitting Phoenix with, a lot of his. It was high spots, but it was high spots saying, "I'm giving you the best I got right now."
Yeah.
And then people just kept kicking out, and it was sequences where Phoenix would drop a bunch of bombs on Vikingo, he'd kick out of it. Vikingo would drop a bunch of bombs on Ray Phoenix, he'd kick out of it.
Right, but what you're saying right now is everybody's just getting their shit in. And that's, which is fine. That's fine. That's great. But like, it was fine. It was great. It was a bunch of big spots.
It was more than just a bunch of random spots. It was I felt like it was spots structured in a sequence that was like, oh, this is the story they're telling. I'm gonna give this guy the best I got. Oh, he's kicking out of it. What am I gotta do next?
Yeah, a bunch of cool shit. That's what that match was. I'm just saying that match had potential match of the year. It was a fucking outstanding match. But it wasn't exactly that. There's other matches on here. I mean, all these matches were really fantastic. I've never really seen too many Camille matches. I thought Taya versus Camille was a hell of a match.
It was a lot of fun.
Camille was beating the shit out of Taya the entire time. I thought it was awesome. Yeah. I thought it was rad. So there was a lot of really, really cool shit going on. And I felt, I love that they did the thing with Cybernetico and Pagano, where we didn't know who got the pin until the music hit. And even then, we don't really recognize music. So it's like we had to wait for commentary.
Yeah.
Commentaries, hey, who got it? Pagano got it. We didn't have a camera up there to see who got the pin. I thought that was pretty clever. I thought it was like, oh my God, edge of our pants. Who just fucking won this match?
Yeah.
So I thought there were a lot of great ways. And it was like a kind of a shorter Triplemania than usual. Because
it's almost 4 hours.
It felt shorter than you. Like the pacing was so good.
It's because there wasn't like a long promo segment in the middle of the show,
and the kickoff wasn't aired anywhere.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't like that long meandering promo. None of the some of the matches might have been overbooked, but not to a ridiculous degree where it kills the match.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like a breezier Triplemania. It was just a really stellar show. And then the finish with Pentagon and Viano 4 just putting on an amazing match. Viano 4 at his age, 57 years old. Mm-hmm. And the emotion from unmasking and saying his name, even through the language barrier. Luckily we had some awesome friendos in chat translating, but even without that, you still understood. I mean, when a dude said his name, you understood, oh, that's him revealing his name. That's what they do in these matches.
Yeah.
It was a really wonderful show.
It was a really fun show. And as you mentioned, Viano losing that main event, unmasking, handing his mask to Pentagon, and dropping one hell of a promo there at the end of the show. You could just feel the emotion. He's really putting over Pentagon. as the opponent he wants to face in his last match. So
yeah.
good stuff. I guess we can go through these results, and if anything pops out, we can talk about it then. Opening bout to the main card saw Dragon Lee and Dralistico officially be the number one contenders for the tag title, something they've been like saying they want to be ever since they showed up in AAA.
Right.
They defeated Los Vipers, Willie Mack and Arez, and Mystices Jr. and Commander.
This match was also notable for Dr. Simi showing up and lots of shenanigans with one of the mascot for one of the sponsors of the show. I forget what the name of it is. Similaria Pharmacies or something like that. And it was hilarious and awesome and random. And a bunch of Dr. Simis fell from the sky on Willie Mack as he was dancing. We got a Macarena. We got, a couple dances that were maybe a little bit more lewd.
But then we got a bunch of Dr. Simis.
Multiple
dancing.
Dr. Simis, yeah.
One on the stage, several in the crowd.
Right. One, again, pretty lewd, which was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
One of them dudes was enthusiastic, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you got that right. So Dragon Lee and Dralistico then at some point we'll get a match against FTR, and that'll be really good.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's gonna be.
That'll
good.
be really, really good.
Yeah.
Next for the Reina de Reinas title, Taya defeated Camille to retain the title. Really fun match, as you mentioned. Camille was dominating. I don't know, the first 80% of this bout.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Busted Taya open. In the end, Camille tapped out. Taya retains. Then we got the trios match you mentioned, where to win the titles you had to pin the champs. So we saw Johnny Caballero, John Morrison, Sam Adonis, and Brian Cage win that bout against the teams of Psycho Clown, Bandito, and Laredo Kid and NGD. No title change there because the champs were nowhere to be seen during that finish.
I don't know if anybody told Caballero. He had, the two interesting notes here with Triplemania, at least this year. Number one, if you brought your kid, you lost.
Yep.
Number two, win entrances meant something. Johnny Caballero had the biggest entrance of this match. He won. Vikingo, biggest entrance of his match. He won. Pentagon, biggest entrance of his match. Won.
Yeah. That's true. Next, hair versus hair match. Pagano versus Cybernetico. This match was brutal. The tables were not breaking. Both of them got busted open. Thumbtacks were involved. In the end, the match, there was a ref bump. Vampiro came out to finish the match as ref. We got a bit of a face-off between him and Conan. Of course, they got beef. Going back years. So Pagano ended up getting the win. There was a spot in the stage with a ladder. They both tumble off the ladder and go through the stage. And Vampiro looks down, and in his estimation, Pagano's covering Cybernetico. He counts the pin. Pagano wins. And then they take Cybernetico off in a stretcher, and they take him back to the trainer's room. He's just sitting there very calmly getting his haircut.
Yeah, it was like a real haircut. Like the doctor was cutting his hair. The doctor was really going to town with it. Like you see Vampiro was helping, but he was trying to be very careful. He didn't want like a Raven TNA situation where he's doing it the wrong way. Like when they did with Raven, like they were doing the Clippers the wrong way. So it was just shredding his fucking head and blood was pouring everywhere.
Oh, so they're going down?
They were going, I think like with whatever, like it was backwards or whatever. Yeah. And it was just shredding his head. There was like an interview where he talked about they were shredding my head.
Yeah.
The doctor was going to town though.
Yeah. For the Mega Championship, Vikingo defeated Ray Phoenix in a really stellar match. These guys were doing some crazy stuff.
Oh man, this
crazy stuff.
It looked like Vikingo might have really messed himself up on the last big,
that poison rana off the top.
Yeah. My goodness. But he was able to finish the match and finish off Ray Phoenix to retain that Mega Championship. So an AEW guy fell. But then that just happened at GCW. Tony Khan's going to lock that down, though. I tell you.
Seemingly, I mean,
Kazarian still has to lose to Josh Alexander, but who knows? Maybe Kazarian will be Impact champion. I don't know.
Come on now.
Come on. And then
Gosh.
Pentagon in a bloody match. I mean, this dude Pentagon got split open.
Yeah.
Well, he split himself open. He was profuse. Like, they do the thing where, like, you're going to rip the mask. Well, you gotta replace it with something else. They do a mask of blood.
Yeah. The
So
crimson
it's just-
mask.
Yeah,
Yes.
crimson mask. Thank you. It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And but he ended up tapping out Viano 4 with apparently the same move that tapped out Viano 3 in his last match, which is some great storytelling there.
Really is. Really is. Really great match. And then Viano unmasking.
All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Hey, Larson.
Yeah, Steve.
I'm sure you know that lately we've been seeing more and more professional athletes speaking out about the importance of mental health. There's been several top stars that have stepped away from their sports to tend to their own mental well-being. But pro athletes aren't the only ones who need to take care of their mental health, and therapy is the best way for anybody to stay in peak mental shape.
That's true, Steve, and I've been there before myself. About 20 years ago, I was dealing with severe anxiety and realizing that I wasn't in peak mental shape. I went in search for a therapist. But back then, finding the right therapist was a difficult process, and it took me quite a while to find someone I was comfortable talking to. But once I did, I started getting the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety. Today, BetterHelp is a great option if you're considering therapy, because it makes the process of finding a therapist much more convenient and accessible. The whole process is done online, so you don't have to leave your house. And all you got to do to get connected with the therapist is fill out a quick survey. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time.
So when you're ready to feel at the top of your mental health game, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
And let's get a word from our sponsor, RexMD. Guys, listen, I understand. I get it. You don't like going to the doctor. And I understand it can be difficult to talk to the doctor about certain issues, especially when it involves down where, Steve?
Down there in the crotch chop zone. You guys know what we're talking about.
But here's something to remember. Most men's health issues have a simple solution, and RexMD is all about simple solutions.
That's right. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription, and they deliver straight to your door. No office visits, no talking to a receptionist. Super simple.
It is super simple. All you got to do is fill out a quick medical questionnaire online, and a doctor will review your situation and prescribe you generic Viagra if appropriate. Then your medication gets shipped directly to your door with free 2-day shipping.
Thanks to RexMD, over 300,000 guys have gotten generic Viagra quickly and conveniently. RexMD is fast, simple, and cheap, and you can access your U.S. licensed RexMD physician anytime you need afterwards.
RexMD just works, and it works the very first night. So guys, are you ready?
Wow.
Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our viewers, but you've got to go to rexmd.com/raw to get started. That's RexMD, RexMD.com/raw.
And before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings. You know, Larson,
What's that, Steve?
it's been a while since I've checked out a UFC card, but this weekend's UFC 280 is looking stacked. Steve's got to check this one out, man.
You're going to check this one out, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you know what, Steve? You can get even closer to the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. And check this out. New customers can bet $5 on UFC 280 and get $200 in free bets if your fighter wins.
And if I wanted even more action and boost my winnings, then I could try a same-game parlay and maybe double my winnings. I know you like your parlays, Larson.
Oh, man, I love myself a good parlay, so this is what you got to do. All you got to do is combine multiple bets like which fighter wins, how long the fight lasts, and so on. So if you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook, today is the day. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code RAW. Throw down $5 on UFC 280 and get $200 in free bets if your fighter wins.
That's code RAW this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Dropping the promo. Really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yep.
Really
Friday night, we had Smackdown, where we got at the end of the show Bray Wyatt's first promo since returning. This was very interesting. He was a vulnerable Bray Wyatt, seemingly as much Wyndham Rotunda as Bray Wyatt. He was but a man, which I think is really interesting. And after this, he sort of spilled his emotional guts out to the crowd, said, I was lost. I lost two people very close to me. I lost my career, but all of you people would see me and pump me up and pick me up and say really nice things. And I want to say thank you. And then his promo was cut off by Bray Wyatt up on the Tron in the mask saying, oh man, no, you have no idea what you're in for here.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the specifics during the recap. I love that Bray Wyatt is going with something new and fresh. And, dude, ever since this guy arrived, he's been interested in exploring the inner workings of man, the various facets of us, whether you want to refer to it as our various personalities, our insecurities, our egos, what have you. The identity of humanity is what he's interested in exploring via running ropes. And it looks like he is going to try to tell this story now, maybe unfettered by, the shackles of Vince McMahon. And I'm interested in it, man. I'm here for it. This seems really interesting. Where do you see this going?
It's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be, and this is a loose analogy that I'll make here, comparable to Firefly Funhouse Bray and The Fiend, where these are two alter egos, or if this masked persona is something that exists outside of the wrestling sphere that's going to kind of haunt Bray. A lot of what Bray's, especially the Firefly Funhouse / Fiend stuff, and granted, right now is a small sample size, but I could see thematically being similar, is someone dealing with a lot of pain and trauma, and them finding ways to, literally in Firefly Funhouse, create new worlds to try to make sense of those feelings.
Yeah.
And then from that world sprung the Fiend in the Firefly Funhouse example. So is this latest iteration of Bray him saying, all right, I'm going to strip myself of the facade of the wrestling character, be myself. Nonetheless, I'm still haunted by all that past pain.
Yeah.
And now it's personified by this new mask, this new character that, I tried to be like. His theme is in a lot of ways, seemingly, granted, it's one promo, so we're trying to make the connections where we can. Where you got the chorus, which when I heard it at first, like, wow, this is really uplifting.
Right? Yeah.
It's really uplifting.
Yeah. The theme is terrific. I wish they'd release the damn thing so I can hear it more.
Yeah, and it seemingly is going to embody the kind of dichotomy of what he's doing now, where you have this masked character that's going to be, the devil on his shoulder, if you will, seemingly. Versus what he's trying to do is be, in a lot of ways, an inspirational figure. As basically Wyndham. But I don't know if it's gonna be a thing where he will go back and forth between them in terms of the wrestling aspect.
Yeah, right.
Or if the masked character is just gonna be a storytelling device to push or to advance the story of Wyndham.
Yeah. Yeah.
That remains to be seen.
It's what's most interesting about this iteration is, the Firefly Funhouse stuff. It felt like he was reflecting on his career. You had Husky Harris was his name,
Mercy the Buzzard. Yep.
Mercy the Buzzard. Exactly. All the inspirations, and iterations of Bray Wyatt were personified or put to, made real in Firefly Funhouse with the puppets and all that kind of stuff. And then he had the Fiend and all that. Well, the thing that I loved so much about this promo was just how real life it was, how personal it seemed to be. Obviously he was very close with Brody Lee, and he referenced, losing him. I don't know. Maybe it's obvious. I don't know. The other, he said, I lost 2 people in my life. I don't know who the other one
I'm not aware.
would have been. I don't know if I was missing something obvious there. But he talked about some things that were very personal to him. And, he talked about losing his career, but there are some deeper things at play here, as opposed to, hey, let's reference, aspects of my life. Well, this might be the one thing that it's like, man, now I've got a canvas without this old man here to like tell me, no, don't paint this, don't paint that. And so I'm interested to see how far they go with this, what he's able to do with it, how it's going to relate to the greater world of WWE wrestling, and that universe, what the feuds are going to look like. Yeah, I'm really interested. I thought there was some really good stuff in that promo there.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Vermillion says his childhood best friend.
Oh, okay. It's going to be interesting to see how, because one thing, as you mentioned with Firefly Funhouse, is Bray references and works in his own past in the world of wrestling into what he's doing and how he's going to reference that, whether obliquely or directly. Yeah. I know obviously when he re-debuted, he had all the Firefly Funhouse characters there. I don't think we're going to see them very often that way.
I don't think so.
If at all. I mean, after this, I'd be pretty surprised if he had a faction with them at this juncture.
I agree.
This feels like a solo journey.
This is one man dealing with his own shit. That's what this is. He ain't going to be a cult leader. He doesn't have people with him. No, we did, like you said, we've only been given bits and pieces, and there were teases here and there, and I'm sure a lot of that was simple misdirection. I think it was well executed misdirection, but this seems to be Bray versus Bray, which again is going to be interesting. If, like you said, are they going to try to manifest that in the ring? Is WrestleMania going to be Bray Wyatt? Is it going to be Undertaker versus Undertaker, like Bray Wyatt versus a dude like Joe Gacy in the mask? Like supposed to be Bray Wyatt. I don't know. I don't know any of those, but I'm really fascinated to see this. And the crowd was, man, they were into it. They were enthralled by this. So yeah, and I dig the new theme. I do wish they would release it so we can check it out a bit more. But yeah, there was like you said, the chorus is very uplifting, but then the rest of it was very ominous. I thought it was so good. Let's talk about War Games, because we might have some idea as to what the men's War Games match is going to be. It seems like it might be the Brawling Brutes versus some iteration of the Bloodline. What do you think is the most likely scenario here? Who are the participants actually going to be?
I mean, I've been kind of saying that I'm skeptical. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm skeptical Roman's going to be in a War Games match. It's a brutal match. The odds of injury are dramatically increased. If they got any hope that they're going to get Rock Roman at WrestleMania, I don't feel like they're going to put Roman in that brutal of a match. But I think at this juncture, the structure in a main roster show kind of sells itself. You put Sammy, you put the Usos in there. Maybe Solo against the Brawling Brutes. Maybe they can recruit somebody from NXT or the main roster for that matter. And then, I don't know, maybe that the Rumble, they want to do Sheamus versus Roman if Roman's not in the Rumble itself. Do Sheamus versus Roman as the main event of the Rumble. Apparently, because there's no pay-per-views between Survivor Series and the Rumble. Yeah. I think Sheamus is having the run of his career right now in terms of match quality.
Yeah.
It's a fresh opponent for Roman.
It is.
And I think from a stylistic perspective, Sheamus presents something new for Roman. And it's going to be interesting to see, because Sheamus has been working faster paced matches. Physical, brutal matches. Whereas Roman continually, I'm not going to say he works a meticulous pace. That's the style he works in the ring, because that's what fits his character. Will Sheamus be able to bring something new out of Roman from an in-ring perspective? That's going to be the interesting thing. If it War Games, the Brutes get the win over the Bloodline, assuming Roman's not in the ring, could help motivate Sheamus, saying, I'm coming after you, head of the table. And that match will be really good.
Yeah. It seems like that's the case. I was kind of bearish on the idea of Roman not being at Survivor Series, but it's entirely possible at this point. Like you said, War Games kind of sells itself. Sheamus is wildly over right now. Like, the Brawling Brutes are one of the most popular acts in WWE, because of just Sheamus putting on these amazing matches, specifically with Gunther.
I mean, this is what they could do as well. The first, I think, NXT War Games match had 3 teams of 3. You could have the Brutes, you could have Bloodline, and you could have Imperium in there.
You could absolutely do that. Yeah.
And that helps elevate Imperium if they want to get Gunther up to potentially face off against Roman at some point.
Yeah, that'd be killer. I mean, the only thing about not having Roman is even if they did that, like, I would have thought they would want to make it a bit more even with, because you got your big man with Sheamus, you got your big man with Gunther, and then the counter for that is Sami Zayn, who's a terrific wrestler in his own right. Don't get me wrong.
You know what they should do is put Solo, Sammy, and Jay in there.
So, well, I was thinking Jay would be the one excluded. You put Solo, Sammy, and Jimmy, the guys who are on Roman's good side.
Yeah.
And Jay is excluded. Oh man, I was so bummed out when Jay helped Sammy win, and then Sammy didn't even give him credit.
I know.
Oh God, Sammy.
I know.
He can't help but be Sammy. That's what's great about him.
Yep.
So let's just dive into this. The show opens with there's a car crash that had happened in front of the arena. Cross was in a car accident. Drew runs in to beat down Karrion. Was the idea here that Drew was driving the truck and he rammed into Cross?
They said there was an investigation. That's what they said at some point during the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Following this.
Okay.
But they never came back around to it.
Okay. Because I took it as like Drew ran into Karrion Kross, then came out and...
That's how I took it too.
Yeah. So he started ramming his head into the side of the truck, tried to slam his head in the door of the truck. The refs and producers pulled Drew away. Drew says, "Oh, this is just the beginning." It's like, well, now we're thick and we're in the middle of it, man. You got maced in a big strap match. This is not just the beginning, Drew. But I take his point.
This is like start Act 2 pretty much.
Exactly.
Then we had a first match of the night. Kofi taking on Sami Zayn. New Day dropped a promo on the way to the ring, and Kofi says, "Friendly reminder that at 483 days, the New Day hold the record for the longest reigning tag champs." And Wood says that record is important because to them, that's their legacy, and their legacy lasts forever. So the Usos, as of Friday, were about 30 days away from breaking this record.
Yeah, that's happening.
Seems to be possible.
Yeah.
But I would imagine there's going to be a match at some point between the New Day and the Usos.
Yeah, to try to,
for the New Day to try to hold on to that record.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Oh, so after that, we're at the gorilla position. We got Sammy and Solo there. Sammy tells Solo, "You know what? You're so reliable. Unlike," and then Jay walks in. He's like, "Oh, speaking of which," he says, "Where have you been?" And Jay says, "Look, Jimmy's handling family stuff right now. I'm here." Sammy says, "You're with me tonight." He's like, "I can't have any of these issues we had on Raw." He says, and then, because Sammy told Jay to back up. I got this. Jay did that and allowed Sammy to, basically get the loss here. Mm-hmm. And so Sammy's putting that on Jay. So Roman calls Sammy. Sammy's like, I feel like Jay could have done something, but he chose to do nothing. And then Roman wants to talk to Jay. So Jay takes the phone, tries to explain what he did on Monday. He's like, he told me to back up. And then Roman cuts him off and he's like, "Okay, you're the tribal chief. Okay, I got him." He hands the phone back over to Sammy, and Sammy's like joking with Roman. And Jay's like, "What did he say? What did he say?" He's like, "It's an inside joke. You wouldn't get it." It's just laying it on so thick. And he says, "Okay, I'll talk to you soon."
Yeah.
And then we get that match.
Yep. Solid bout between Kofi and Sammy here. So the finish saw Kofi looking for trouble in paradise. Jay gets on the apron to distract Kofi. Eventually, Kofi goes for trouble in paradise. Sammy ducks it, looks for a blue thunder bomb, but Kofi reverses that into a roll-up. But they're pretty close to the ropes, and the ref doesn't see Jay sneak into the ring and push over Kofi. So Sammy is now rolling up Kofi, and then Sammy gets the win. Ref counts 3. And as you mentioned, later on, we have a bit where Jay's looking for some thanks from Sammy, and Sammy's not having none of it.
Jay, he did his job. He bought in. He got it for Sammy. And this piece of shit says, "No, I did it all myself." I love the complexity of it because everybody's on board with Sammy, and then he pulls this shit. Mm-hmm. So now everybody's going to be on board with Jay. And it's great. It's a great dynamic here.
It really is. It really is. We're backstage, and next Triple H is talking to security. They leave. So Rey Mysterio walks up, and he tells Hunter, "I've reached my breaking point. I don't see a way of moving forward. I'm not going to fight my son. I can't do this anymore. I came because I want to tell you I quit." Triple H's like, whoa, I can't imagine what you're going through, but there's got to be another way. Let's go talk and see if we can come up with another solution. So they walk into Triple H's office.
And then, like, Enforcer comes out, and you hear Triple H said, "You're trash, get out of here." Yeah, this was a really sweet moment from Rey, because he was like, I still see him. And this is, as a parent, this is the most real thing Rey's ever done. Is he said, when I look at him, I still see him as the little baby that fell asleep on my shoulder. You know, the little guy that I used to sing to sleep or would bounce on my lap. It's like, oh, Rey, you're killing me right now. Too bad you've been a shit parent. Anyways, after that, we have Roxanne Perez talking to Shotzi and Raquel in the locker room. Raquel asks Roxanne to be careful with Cora Jade. She's changed. And Roxanne asks Raquel to be Cora's opponent for their pick your poison thing. Damage control steps in. Bailey says, "What are you doing? You should have picked me." Roxanne says, "You haven't exactly been on a winning streak lately, Bailey." And Bailey gets pissed off. She says, "Perez isn't on my level. I hope you brought your ring gear." So we get a match later on, a multi-woman match. But first we do one of these deals, Braun Strowman versus a couple of jabronis that he absolutely wrecks. But it sets up a pretty interesting match down the line.
Yeah, because Amos and MVP come walking in through the crowd to watch the end of it. And then Braun gets on the turnbuckle to celebrate, rips his shirt off. He's telling Amos to get in the ring, and then MVP grabs the mic and says, "Braun, you're an incredible specimen, but the monster of monsters. Have you not seen Amos?" Says, standing next to Amos, Braun looks normal. Tells Braun not to get too comfortable. Some monsters should stay in the shadows.
What do you think? What do you think that means? I mean, maybe he thinks Braun specifically is like the monster under the bed.
Oh, maybe. That could be. Or the one hiding in the closet.
The one hiding
in
the closet. Yeah, exactly. Some monsters stay in the shadows. Braun, with those bright red pants, he's in no shadows. No shadow is going to contain those bright red pants.
No.
So I don't know what MVP's talking about. But I like the idea of Braun versus Amos. You know, that's cool. Big giants just beating each other up. That's cool.
They book it well, and it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. After that, we had the bit where Sammy, Solo, and Jay are backstage chatting. Sammy's hyping up Solo because he's in that 4-way for the IC title shot. He's saying, you're going to get the job done just like I did. And Jay's like, "Okay, yeah, Sammy, you're welcome." And Sammy's like, "For what? I did it all myself." He's like, "Can I get some credit from you?" And Jay asks Solo, "Is like, did you see what I did?" Dude, Solo said no. I was watching Sammy. He says, "Man, I can learn a lot from you, Oos."
Yeah. Yeah.
Which cracks me because you never know what Solo's thinking. You never know if Solo's going to be like, "Fuck you, man." No, he is all on board because the tribal chief is all on board. And he knows who's paying them checks. So Sammy tells Solo, he's like, "You're going solo tonight." And Solo's hyped up. He's like, "I'm going to get some gold after I body these fools tonight."
Yeah. Thank you, Cultaholic, here for the raid.
Oh, thank you, Cultaholic. We're talking about SmackDown right now. Right now we're on Mansoor versus LA Knight. Oh man, it was so good. That horrible theme of his, it was so good to hear. And this giant face Tron.
It's the same trunks he had in NXT. He hasn't upgraded his gear.
I'm not sure what the little logo he has super glued on the front is.
I don't know what that is.
I can't discern if it's like letters or some abstract shapes. I don't know what they are.
I don't know. Hopefully at some point there's an upgrade. LA Knight gets the win here. Hitting the BFT to get the W, and then afterwards grabs a mic. "Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you. You don't think I did that for you, do you? Yeah. I don't need a bunch of incels saying my name. I'm putting the whole WWE superstar roster on notice. Yeah, from here on, you can get your ticket punched because guess whose game it is? That's right. It's LA Knight's game. Yeah." So immediate heel turn for LA Knight. That's great. That's awesome. Talking about incels and whatnot.
Then we got a recap of Bray's return to Extreme Rules, and then we got Damage Control taking on Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne was in this match for most of it.
Yeah.
She got a huge opportunity to showcase her skills. A lot of it against Bailey. Bailey hits her with a Bailey to belly. Gets a 2 there. So then the Bailey goes up top. I assume looking for a top rope elbow.
Yeah.
Roxanne punches her, hits Frankenstein to get a 2. So Bailey's looking for a rose plant. Roxanne reverses that into a roll up, and then Bailey reverses that into a roll up of her own to get the win.
Yep. After that, we had another one of those cool Sarah Logan Viking video packages. It was pretty quick. After that, we had Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasma making their in-ring debut as a tag team on SmackDown. During the entrance, I didn't notice this Bray's logo popped up. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was real quick. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Legado gets they get the win here. Hit Row attack Legado on the ramp before the bell rings.
I like the commentary reference their feud in NXT.
I know.
Continuity.
It works. So yeah. Anyways, so Santos trips Ashanti off the apron, rolls under the ring. B-Fab looks for him. Zelina Vega takes her out with a clothesline off the ring steps. That distracts Top Dollar. Legado hit him with a bunch of shit and then hit their finish to get the win on Hit Row. Strong debut here for Legado.
Yeah, especially pinning Top Dollar.
Legato. After that, a Sonya Deville interview, Larson.
Yeah, then we had a Sonya Deville interview. She's talking about how Liv Morgan has been gifted opportunity after opportunity and failed. She had a chance to prove she deserved the SmackDown title, and what did she do? She got destroyed by Ronda.
Mm-hmm.
She says Liv doesn't have it, and then Liv shows up, attacks Sonya, hits her with a belly to back on a road cage. She clears off a table, eventually puts Sonya on that, goes up the scaffolding of the interview set, and hits a senton off that.
That was huge. That thing was super high up there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was nuts, man. That was really cool. So Liv Morgan, Daredevil Extraordinaire is the new gimmick, I guess.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, man.
Seems that way.
This was tons of fun right here, man. We had Ricochet,
this main event.
Ricochet versus Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa versus Rey Mysterio for number one contender shot at that Intercontinental title. Commentary announces that Rey is now on SmackDown.
Yeah. Full time on SmackDown. They really put over when he was back on SmackDown in the mid-aughts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, I was saying. Yeah, welcome back home.
Huge.
Welcome back to SmackDown.
How huge it was. This match was tons of fun. Down towards the finish. Man, Sheamus hit Solo with the 10 beats, but like 29 times.
Oh, it was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really going. He was really beating the hell out of him. So Sheamus hits the jumping knee, a backbreaker, puts the clover leaf on Solo. So then Jay and Sammy get in the ring. Sheamus fends them off. Solo then super kicks Sheamus out of the ring. Sammy hits Sheamus with some ground and pound. Jay pulls him off, starts hitting some ground and pound of his own. Sammy comes over, starts dropping boots on Sheamus while Jay's doing ground and pound.
Yeah.
So then Butch and Ridge come out to make the save. So they're all brawling. Sammy, Solo, Jay brawling with Sheamus and the Brutes. That leaves Ray and Ricochet in the ring. Ray sends Ricochet into the ropes, looks for a 619. Ricochet catches them. I haven't seen this move before.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like a head scissor version of a destroyer.
Yeah.
So rather than Ricochet hitting the mat kind of face out, he hit the mat kind of facing Ray.
Yeah.
And Ricochet, he sells stuff like he sold the DDT like he's getting spiked into the ground. He sold this the same way, and it was ridiculous.
It was nuts. It was the whole crowd gasped. They're like,
I did too.
Yeah. I saw you mentioned it. You're like, holy shit, Ray did this crazy shit. And then I got on Twitter. I was like, okay, let me see this. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was the damnedest thing I'd seen in a long time. So anyways, that sends Ricochet into the ropes. Ray hits a 619 frog splash to get the win. He's facing Gunther. Yeah,
man. Out of the fire and into the frying pan or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Anyways. After that, Bray Wyatt shows up. Arena lights go down, start getting this piano playing. They got that door on the ramp, lights shining through the cracks again. The door is booted open. Music picks up. Lights go out. Bray walks out the door. He's got the lantern. He blows it out. He stands in the ring. So he gets on the mic, and he's just dressed like a normal dude. It's just Bray. It's just Wyndham. He says, I'm incredibly grateful. He says, I never thought this would happen. He says, this is just me. This is a version of myself I've never gotten to introduce before. He says, genuine me for the first time. He says, I want to share with you, this past year of my life, I've lost a lot of things. I lost my career. I lost my self-confidence. 2 people who were very close to me, and I lost my way, and I got to a point where I thought everything I had done was meaningless. Nothing I did had meaning to anyone, and I was wrong. He says, once I was done feeling sorry for myself and went out into the world again, people would ask, when are you coming back home? And every once in a while, I'd meet somebody truly remarkable. He says, you know who you are. He says, and they'd say, thank you, Bray. I was in a time of need. I lost my self-confidence, and in my weakened state, I found your words, and I want to thank you, man. You saved my life, Bray. He says, the truth is, I don't think about stuff like that. The thing about that is that I can look all the fans in the eyes and say, you were there when I was vulnerable, when I was weak. And I want to thank all of you. You saved my life. When I wanted to run away and hide, you found me. And then lights go down. And then on the Tron, there's the masked man. He says, Bray, come with me. Forget the future and the past. You have no idea who you're dealing with. But you will. You will. And then it just ends. There's no commentary. It just ends.
Nope.
Masked Singer up next.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I had chills when I was watching that shit. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Also had Rampage.
This is Rampage.
Opened up with Mox, Claudio. Take it on. Hey, thanks to Claudio for the raid too.
During Triplemania. Yeah, absolutely.
Claudio and the Sweets. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Mox, Claudio versus Butcher and Blade. Claudio gets the win here. So Butcher and Blade looking for their finish. Claudio literally just lifts Mox out of their arms to safety. They both hit their finishes. Claudio gets the pin on the Butcher afterwards. Mox drops a promo period saying, asking Claudio what's going to happen to the Cowboy when he steps up on Tuesday. Claudio said he's getting stepped on.
Oh, wow. He's going to step on some cowboy shit. After that, we had a Swerve interview. He says, our first goal is to get the tag titles back. He talks beating Billy Gunn. He says he thought it was hilarious that the Acclaimed not being allowed to scissor anymore. So Keith Lee steps in. He's like, man, I teamed with you because we can be great together. He says, I don't think you're good. I think you're great. He says, well, we don't need to cheat to beat anyone. He says, all that nonsense means nothing. He says, you're swerving into the wrong lane. And then Swerve had a cup of coffee over that. He's like, I don't like that. I don't like it. No, I'm in the right lane. You're in the wrong lane.
He didn't like that at all. He don't like that.
You could just leave now.
Oh, look at that. So we got Dark Order interview. It's quickly entered by Jose. And then 10 says to Jose, you screwed us out of the trios titles. I'm going to challenge Roosh to a match. And if I beat Roosh, you have to stay out of my business.
Out of my business.
So Jose's like, cool, leaves. Dark Order all put their hands in. Extra handcuffs in. Camera pans out. Stu Grayson.
Yeah. That's cool.
Stu Grayson's back.
He's back. After that, we had a Jericho Appreciation Society promo. So 2.0 says the family's back together. Of course, Garcia's with them wearing that goofy hat. Not the bucket hat. He's got the cap on. 2.0 says the family's back together. JAS being together forever makes Menard's nipples hard. Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah. He says, you know what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard?
Oh, okay. I just heard him say, forever, forever, forever. So Anna Jay then introduces Garcia, says he's the man with the plan. And then Garcia says, Jericho has always said that sports entertainers are superior. And for a bit, I didn't believe him. I wanted to be a pro wrestler just like my hero. He says, but I'll never be a pro wrestler because when Jericho hit me in the head with a title, he taught me how to win. He says, I got a confession to make, all you people. I'm a sports entertainer. And then Jericho says, I'm the greatest Ring of Honor, Ring of Jericho champ, and I'm going to beat every former champion. Out walks Dalton Castle. Oh, easy pickings. I love Dalton Castle. And the crowd was going, this is a stellar crowd, by the way.
Yeah.
Stellar crowd. Popping for everything that was exciting. So we'll get to later. So Dalton walks to the stage. They're chanting his name, and he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He says, I used to be Ring of Honor champion, and to see that title on you makes me sick. He says, I broke my back for the title, and I'm willing to break your back to give the fans a champion they can be proud of. And he challenges Jericho to a title match on Dynamite, and Jericho accepts. He is so fucking charismatic, Dalton Castle.
I know. He's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Then we had a Tony Storm, Hikaru Shida video package. They have a women's title match on Dynamite.
You know what I appreciate about this, though? At the end, the punctuation mark here, Tony Storm did not use the word interim. She said, I'll be still AEW World's Women's World Champion.
Yeah.
I'm glad she didn't use that stupid interim tag.
Yeah, yeah. Then we got Nyla Rose versus Anna Jay. Finish of this saw Anna leap off the top. Nyla catches Anna, drives her into the corner, hits a beast bomb for the win. Then Jade and the baddies walk down the ramp. Baddies tell there's security because Nyla and Vicky, they brought security.
Yeah, right.
So the baddies tell Jade, we got this. They walk down and security's like, no, you can't do anything, and they just kind of stand there. Jade comes down, beats the hell out of every single security guard,
annihilates them.
And while Jade's doing that, Nyla and Vicky escape.
I appreciate after the win, Vicky held up a 1-0 sign.
Yeah.
Because now Nyla Rose, I mean, there's some truth to that, though. Possession, 9/10 of the law.
That's not really a legally binding thing, though.
Why is that a phrase? We got to look up the etymology. I know. I think I did too. And I
don't remember what it is. Then the Trustbusters, Arya Davari, has a promo talking about why he gave Hook that envelope. Apparently, he just wanted to buy the FTW title for $50,000.
Pretty simple transaction. An envelope of $50,000. You just assume they're going to know what it is.
I guess.
I mean, he should probably go on eBay. I'm sure they have replicas there.
Probably. So then challenge Hook to a match because he said, I'll just win it then.
Yeah, he's going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
After that, this was pretty quick. Ethan Page versus
this was really quick.
Isaiah Cassidy. Yeah, this was like bizarrely quick. I was like, am I tripping right now? So Cassidy misses a swanton. Page hits a twist of fate, and then Ego's edge to get the win.
Yep.
That was by and large most of the match. Like that was
there was a little bit outside where Cassidy had the advantage for like a minute, and then Stokely interferes or just distracts Cassidy long enough for Page to turn the tables, and then that was the finish.
Like, and so now like the contracts are in the firm's possession, right? For everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd have thought this would be a bit more dramatic. Nope.
No drama.
Nope. No drama.
Then we had a quick best friends promo. They challenged Death Triangle to a trios match on Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Yeah, that's right. It's tomorrow.
Yeah. Then we had our customary pre-main event interview. Brian Cage is talking about how FTR is facing the top body guys in the business, and Sean Spears says Cage is like a black hole of charisma or something like that.
Oof, yeah.
And says, I have some wrongs to make up for, and that's going to start tonight.
10. So then we had Pinnacle versus Embassy. Pinnacle won this. Sean Spears got the win here with a C4 on on Khan? Is that what it was?
Khan, yeah.
Khan. And then there's crickets because the Kingdom walked to the stage. The current Impact Tag Champions, but they didn't have their titles on them.
No.
For reasons. So they walked to the stage and just nobody said, this is a Bob Fish. Folks, where's the lie moment?
Well, the crowd there was some audible, like when Bob Fish walked out on Impact at the conclusion of a 20-minute talking segment, it was like all the air was sucked out of the room because there was no air for any sound waves to bounce off of except for that one guy who yelled CM Punk.
CM Punk!
There was a murmur of noise when the Kingdom came out.
Well, you get that many people in the same place, they're going to start having their own side conversations because Matt Taven's out.
But it was interesting because I would have thought most wrestling fans know who Maria Kanellis is.
Dude, everybody knew who these people are.
Yeah.
They just have nothing. And Maria on it, like... I don't know. I am bummed out. I don't know if we ever get this question necessarily, but one of the angles that I really wish we could have seen more of was Kanellis and Bennett doing the the lovers thing.
Oh, the greatest love ever known thing.
I thought that entrance, the theme was awesome, number one.
Yeah. And
what they seemed to be doing with it, I really liked. And then, but Vince just shut it down, and I think Maria got pregnant or something like that. It's just, I think that Taven and Bennett, Maria's great, regardless. The problem is the other two are trying to do something that just people don't care about. I think that they could be good if they sports entertain it up a little bit. You know, find a hook. Find, I don't want to say a gimmick because that sounds cheap, but find something beyond. What's Matt Taven's signature? What's his thing that he says?
Calling people Melvins.
Well, there's that, but he also says, I'm Matt Taven. That doesn't say anything. It really doesn't.
No.
And Bennett, they're both good wrestlers. But they're not so good that they stand out against all the other great wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing they bring that anybody else isn't already doing better. And I just don't know. Like, the same thing in Impact. At least we got some unintentional comedy from Honor No More because it was silly. But, like, I don't know. They've never really stood out. And you need to stand out these days. You can't just be good wrestlers when you don't have like overwhelming camera charisma, which neither of them do. And Maria's just attached to that. So I think, people know who she is and she's terrific. But when you're bogged down by two guys who just don't do anything special, you're going to be seen in that same light. You're going to be associated with that. I think that's why there was no reaction there.
That could be. Well, then they come into the ring and join Embassy and beating up Spears and FTR, and then War Joe comes out to make the save.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if Maria, who's the Robbins, mentioned something like this. If Maria had come out as part of the women's division, if she had like the Tron and she came out to make a save or something, she would have gotten a pop. But you come out there associated with two guys who were just cold. It's not going to work. And then, when Samoa Low comes out, crowd, huge pop.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I got to go. And I think Triple H is waiting in the Zoom watch room. So I think that means it's time for a Raw preview.
All right.
You ready to do this?
Yeah.
He's probably under the weather because according to Meltzer, he's got COVID.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to zoom him in. I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right. How you feeling there, Game?
Like absolute enforcer, and by that I mean trash. I am feeling so under the weather right now.
All right. Well, I won't take any more time than necessary. So if you would go,
is this usually a COVID thing when you just shit everywhere?
I don't know, but again, I don't want to take all your time. So let's go ahead and get through this Raw preview as quickly, as efficiently as possible.
I'm so hyped for this. I've been working on this episode for months now.
All right, what's the first thing we can look forward to?
First thing on the preview, the Beast Incarnate. I got a beast in me right now. Brock Lesnar returns to Raw. Oh, big deal.
You may take the next one?
No, I got it. Matthew Riddle to challenge Seth Rollins. That's my guy. For the United States Championship. Who do you think you got? Who you got in this match? Who do you think is going to win this match? Who should win this match?
It's an even match here. They're 1-1 against each other. I think it's anybody's match. How about you, Game? Who do you think is going to win this?
Oh, man. This is, I don't know. It's a good question. It's a shoot. Matt Riddle, he was in the UFC fight pit. And Seth Rollins, he's the architect, the visionary. He's my number one guy. So, I don't know who's going to win this. Probably going to be a stomp that gets the win here.
Okay. So Seth Rollins got you. What's next?
Unless Riddle does a stomp. I don't know. Next up, serial killer. Everybody loves true crime these days. It's a crime what I'm doing in my pants right now. Dexter Lumis takes on The Miz. Everybody loves The Miz now because he's being hunted by a serial killer. And Dexter Lumis gets a Raw contract if he defeats the A-lister. That's The Miz.
I got a question for you. Do you write the copy for these previews, Game?
Oh yeah, it takes me weeks of meticulous writing.
To write 5 sentences?
Yeah. 5 sentences of absolute gold. Don't interrupt me. Next up.
Sorry. What's next?
Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, the never IWGP champion, Carl Anderson, the Machine Gun, Bullet Club, looking to educate the Alpha Academy in the ways of the OC. What do you think that means? What are we going to do in this segment? They're going to educate the Alpha Academy.
Well, it's going to be a match, and I'm guessing Gallows and Anderson, the idea is they're to educate Alpha Academy by beating them in a match.
Yeah, it's probably a good point.
I mean, you wrote the sentence. What did you mean by it?
I don't know. I feel like shit right now, I'll be honest.
All right, I hear you.
There's poop everywhere.
All right, there's one more. Let's just get through this, and then you can go rest.
This is going to be great. I don't know what Dad was thinking with Ezekiel, but Elias is back. He's going to make his smash return. What does smash mean? He's going to make his smash. Who wrote this shit?
You said you did.
Somebody snuck this last one. It was only supposed to be 4 sentences. Somebody snuck this last one.
Elias's return last
Bruce. Week. Bruce, was this you?
Well, smash as in like a smash hit, like a recording artist, but also he has a guitar and he smashes that over people's head.
Oh, that makes sense. It's a double meaning. Yeah, I did write this. Yeah. It's a double meaning. It's genius. It's great.
When you get it, you take credit for it, huh?
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, it's mine.
All right,
sure.
thanks, Cerebral Assassin. Why don't you go get some rest? I hope you feel better.
Yeah, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Wasn't too bad, I guess.
Was that okay? Was that good?
Yeah.
Was he shitting a lot? Was he farting a lot of farts?
I heard the noises of poo and fart.
I didn't have that problem when I had the COVID. I didn't poop everywhere. I don't think that's like one of the typical symptoms.
I mean, I've as far as I know, I've never had it, so I can't speak to it.
He probably just has. Well, you had it in the beginning. I gave it to you. He probably just had. he probably, which I honestly feel really bad about still. Yeah, I don't know. He probably just has like food poisoning.
I mean, I hope it's not the case, but maybe it's possible it's both.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, man. Yeah.
That'd be brutal dealing with both those things at the same time.
E. coli and E. COVID, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. He needs to go see Dr. Simi.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yeah, you got any Paxlovid, Simi?
Anyways, that's going to do it for us today here at Going in Raw. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.